In a world where literally anyone can host a podcast, two stoners come together to unite their marijuana and movie knowledge to bring you the latest movie review, as long as they remember to press record. Welcome to the Blunt Movie Reviews.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Travis Aerosmith, and joining me in the field of blunts is my co-host,
Jesse Pena. Now, before we get started, we would like to thank everyone for all your continued support. All the likes, shares, and subscriptions. Keep it up. Every little bit helps.
We would also like to thank Teddy Wyzak for giving us the opportunity to watch this movie prior to its nationwide release. And if this is your first time listening to the Blunt Movie Reviews, we want to let you know up front, we're blunt about our opinions, we're blunt about these movies. We try real hard not to give any spoilers away, and we're not here to jerk you off or jerk off Hollywood. We're here to save you time and money and actually walk out of a movie entertained.
Yeah, so you can see something you actually might enjoy.
And this week is a rarity for us. We don't usually get to review a reboot movie. The original came out in 1989, and the reboot comes out April 5th, 2019. Jesse, what movie did we get to see this week?
We got to see Pet Sematary.
Hi, and welcome to the Blunt Movie Reviews. We were all set to kick it off with this movie's top cast, starting all the way on top with the director.
The directors of this movie are Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer. Have you been able to see any of these two gentlemen's movies?
From what I looked up, everything they've done before this has been B-movies, straight-to-video type style movies. Nothing looked mainstream or blockbuster.
It didn't seem like anything I would be interested in watching if I did run across it.
But I did think they did really good work with this movie, so I do look forward to see what they are given in the future. And I'm not really much for these duo directing teams. It seems kind of lazy to me. When two different directors come together to collaborate to make a movie, that's something else. But these guys, they look like they've been holding hands for 10 movies plus.
So maybe their vision is a little, streamlined with each other. And it showed off pretty well in this movie. This movie stars Jason Clarke. Which, to me, it's for a long time, it looked like someone took Joaquin Phoenix and beat Nathan Fillion and fell out Jason Clarke. I'm not a real big fan of the actor, but he did do a few good movies. And the one I want to bring up is 2009's Public Enemies with Johnny Depp. Okay. The story of the feds trying to take down American gangster in the 1930s, John Dillinger. Yeah. It was a good movie. I did see that. That was a very good movie, actually. I really enjoyed was there a prison scene at the beginning of the movie?
Yes, that's how it started really the whole movie off. Yeah, the prison break, which was really good.
I really liked him in 2018's First Man, starring Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong, and Jason Clarke played Ed White, one of the first, people on the moon.
Which you could actually go back and listen to the review on that in our archives, where Jesse talks a bunch of shit about the movie and doesn't like it at all.
It was boring, but for what it was, it was kind of hard to get excited for a movie that we knew what happened.
Yeah, well, the movie was crap, too. It was way too long, and it was fucking pointless. It was full of Ryan Gosling spoon-eating acting, which was just shit. And if you want to watch a good space movie, watch Apollo 13. You can also go back and listen to that episode in our archives, but we're going to move on to the actress of this movie.
Amy Seimetz, who I haven't been able to see anything she's been in, except for maybe... what was it, Stranger Things? And I do not remember her at all.
Yeah, she was in 3 episodes as Becky Ives in the Netflix series Stranger Things, where a boy in the first season goes missing, and the friends pretty much got to try to find it in the upside down, pretty much another dimension. So, really good show. You can check it out. They're about to come out with their 3rd season.
Like any day now, right?
Yeah. And who played the little girl? I forgot who played the little girl in this movie.
Jeet Lawrence.
She did a really good job. I was impressed. And you brought it up earlier that you thought she did as good of a job in this as the little boy did in the original. Right.
Gage. I don't know
Gage, the
kid's
kid
name.
from, I don't remember his name, but he was in Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah.
You know, boys have penises, girls have vaginas.
That's him, right?
That's him, yeah. And at the age of 3, he killed it.
Dude, absolutely.
He killed it. The little girl in the original in 1989 was like one of the worst actresses to ever be on the screen.
Yeah.
And the 3-year-old carried the movie.
Oh, man, that kid was so creepy.
He did. And then 1 year later, he was in Kindergarten Cop he was a 4-year-old playing a 5-year-old.
And last but not least, we have John Lithgow. You want to tell me your favorite John Lithgow?
I'll tell you my favorite John Lithgow movie. It was 1987's Harry and the Hendersons. The Hendersons are on a camping trip, and driving back home, they accidentally hit Bigfoot. And he takes it home. John Lithgow, he's the father of the family. He takes it home. It's going to be his trophy. He's all excited, but Bigfoot's not dead. And it's just a really good, heartwarming movie. And we were kids at the time when it came out. Mm-hmm. So I was actually afraid of the movie.
Okay.
Until I watched it, and it was like, I want a Bigfoot.
Right? Absolutely. I know. I feel you. Going to Video Time back in the day just to rent this movie. Even the second one. Did you see the second one? Was only
there
one.
There was only one. There was never a second one.
There was never a TV show or anything like that?
There was a TV show.
That's
that was pretty bad though.
Yeah. I believe it was a Fox show. It was a Fox show, right?
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me if Fox is the one that used that, or ABC, something like that. Another movie I really want to throw out there, just because John Lithgow has such a wide acting range. I want to bring up a good action movie where he plays a bad guy and you really dislike him in the movie. It's
1993's Cliffhanger with Stallone and John Lithgow. I play a mountain guy rescuer, and, you know, John Lithgow, he steals a bunch of money, and the plane goes down, and it crashes, and he gets stuck, and he tricks me and a friend up there to help him, and then they go at gunpoint and hold me, and, you know, want me to do some freaky things, and I'm like, no, John, don't, I mean,
Quaylen.
Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. The thing I think a lot of us probably remember him from is 1996 Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. They got like 7 or 8
French
seasons.
Stewart, yeah, that was a great show. My kids started watching it recently, and they love it. We watch it almost every dinner. It's either that or that 70s show.
2 shows that are just completely centered around sex.
Right, dude, it's crazy.
You don't realize that as a kid.
No.
You're watching it now. It's like, wow, everyone's just trying to get laid.
That's everybody.
The whole 30-minute episode.
So, Travis, hit me with that movie guy plot.
What if there was a magical place where childhood pets would come back to life forever? And if it works for pets, why not humans?
Now that we got that out of the way, we get to do one of my favorite parts of the show. That's where we pack our Glass Twisty Blunt full and we spark it up. This week we're smoking birthday cake, and I'll tell you what, my candle sure is lit. We're rolling it up at 23%, and this is quite crystally and very pretty for a nug.
Like there's one mystery solved. Now how about we hit that blunt? Review.
So, Travis, how did you like this movie?
Well, as you know, and some of our regular listeners know, that I'm not big for reboots. I think they usually screw it up. That's why we play our whole game, Reboot Madness. And usually the original is full of what I call accidental magic. It's, you know, an okay script with some decent actors, and it just kind of combines and makes a magical moment in movies.
When it shouldn't be, you know, otherwise, but it does it like a cult following type movie, right?
Exactly. Boondock Saints. That's one of them.
Point Break.
Point Break. I mean, that is movie, in my opinion, is full of accidental magic that shouldn't have been as good as it was or as fun and enjoyable.
Right.
But I'm actually going to go and say that this reboot is probably one of the best reboots I've ever seen. It's like they took the original movie, they put out the plot, they did a little 3-card Monty, and they rolled with it, and I think it came out really good. It's not scene for scene like the original movie was, and I mean, this movie is what our definition of a horror movie is. It has the gore, the jump scare, and I mean, which is unusual in most horror movies, decent acting.
Right.
They had a good cast. They had a pro cast come up and do this movie. So, I mean, in a nutshell, fuck you, Death Day 2. That was not a horror movie. This is. This has the concepts of a horror movie.
It's got some directors who took hold of something and made it their own, even though it already had a place in the movie universe. They took it and they made it into their own. And even though we've already seen the movie, it felt like a new movie.
Yeah, if you've seen the original, I still think you should watch this one because, like we said, they changed it up. It's not the same movie. It's not like you're watching True Grit.
Right.
That was shot for shot. I mean, it was still really good just because
really
of the
good
actor. But if they did shot for shot in this, it would have been crap. Because you know what? I watched the original recently, and it was crap. The best acting in the movie was the 3-year-old from Kindergarten Cop.
I'm with you on this one. I think this movie is definitely better than the original by far. The directors, like I said earlier, also they took this and they made it into their own, and they didn't shy away from changing something so big, and they took it and they made it theirs, and I enjoyed every bit of it. I thought Jason Clarke did a great job in this movie. He looked so healthy and young and vibrant at the beginning of this movie. By the end of the movie, he looked terrible. He was a wreck with swollen eyes, just completely red. I don't even know if it was makeup. It looked so good. It looked like that's his natural state or some shit.
Well, they started it out that way, and as the movie progressed, they're like, okay, Jason, we need you to hold back the tears. Hold them. Come on, don't look like you're about to burst in. Okay. He looks good. Let's do the first scene. Come on.
And it was very interesting to see his progression into madness. I don't know.
You could actually see it as the movie progressed. The visual toll it was taken on him mentally and physically.
Yeah, and Amy Seimetz, who played Rachel in this movie, she also did a good job. And I don't think she was even dealing with things that like he was dealing with. She was dealing with a whole other things in her life that happened to her in the past, and
she had baggage.
Oh, and it just wrecked her too. And they were both just trying to be strong for each other, which is something I could totally relate to. Like, you and your significant other can be going through some shit, but you're like, I'm gonna be strong for you when you're crumbling. And they were both crumbling in each other's arms, and I felt it. I was like, these people are fucked. And I want to speak on Jeet Lawrence a little bit. She was amazing in this movie. She really took command of her role.
Yeah, just like in the original, the young boy, the 3-year-old, was the one carrying the cast. I wouldn't say she was carrying the cast, but she was able to stand up next to these veterans and, be able to actually interact with them on a professional level.
Absolutely.
One thing I really liked about this movie and the original is they got straight to it. They got straight to the point, like, hey, we're here. Oh, what's that down there? What do you mean, Pet Sematary? It's straight to it. They could have put 45 minutes of bullshit to drag this movie out. And in this movie, they actually cut 20 minutes off of the original.
I mean, really, having a movie come in at under 2 hours nowadays, it just doesn't really happen all that often. I mean, with a horror movie, it probably should happen more often. But they did perfect pacing on this movie. I didn't feel like I wanted this movie to end. I was just like, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, especially since they changed it up a bit. You're kind of wondering how much did they change it as you're watching it if you saw the original.
And it was just familiar enough for you not, to not remember the original movie. It was very good.
One thing that I did not like about this movie, I mean, John Lithgow he's a great actor, but Fred Gwynne, who played the original Judd, the next door neighbor, Fred Gwynne's more of a friendly guy. I mean, he looks like the old man that'd be on his porch whittling wood and out fishing on the weekends.
Right.
while John Lithgow kind of just seems off his rocker half the time.
Yeah.
And like he's collecting people in his basement. But how him and the girl interact in this, and it's kind of like the Grinch, his heart grew bigger. And I mean, he actually got a connection with this child, and I mean, fell in love with this child, not weirdly. Especially how they introduced him in the beginning of the movie was kind of a pedophilic feel.
It was. They even had ominous music going on in the
Yes.
background. It was like I just remember Fred Gwynn in the first movie. When you saw him, he was happy. He actually smiled a lot more, and he seemed like you said, a happy neighbor. And definitely John Lithgow was not that. He was like, you stay in your house, don't come over here.
Yes, but he did open himself up, and he did find a connection with this little girl, which was really great on seeing the connection he had with the family and some of the decisions that he decides to make and pushes towards the family. So, Jesse, what do you think? Should people go out and watch this in the cinemas this weekend, take the significant other, maybe wait for it to stream on Netflix or some other streaming agent, or just skip it? The original was good enough.
You should absolutely go see this in the theaters. This is, if you're looking for something a little bit different that you're not used to, maybe not some kind of Captain Marvel movie or anything else, go see a horror movie. Go see Pet Sematary. You'll enjoy it.
Yes, even if you've seen the original, watch this one. It's not the same movie. I mean, it's same title, same premise, but it's a different movie. You're watching
Really
a
is.
new movie pretty much. And I'm with you on this one, Jesse. I'm saying go see this in the cinemas. I'm actually going with the Michael Kelso recommendation on this. You take your significant other, you know what he says, Michael Kelso. Horror movies turn girls on faster than porn. So take your significant other, go out, watch this movie, enjoy it. I'm not one for horror movies, but I thought they did such an amazing job with this. And I mean, it's a Stephen King based movie.
Yeah, right.
And one of the great things is Stephen King wasn't in it, so it made it even better.
What a
That face
pleasant
should not be on
surprise.
TV. It was made for radio. All right, that's going to bring us towards the end of our show, where we like to wrap it up with a little game we like to call Reboot Madness. That's where we take a movie from our past and try to reboot it with a cast that we have full confidence in. They're not going to fuck it up like they did on many other movies. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Point Break, bringing that up a lot this episode.
That's right, kiddos. It's time for another edition of Reboot Madness.
So, Jesse, what movie are we going to reboot this week?
This week's movie that we are going to reboot is 1990's Misery, starring Kathy Bates and James Caan. Travis, hit me with the movie guy plot.
When a crazed fan finds her obsession near death at the edge of the road, she brings him home and nurses him back to life like a little birdie. But this world-renowned author soon realizes that misery needs company, and his misery has only begun.
All right, Jesse. Who did you choose to replace Kathy Bates?
To replace Kathy Bates' character of Anne Wilkes, I chose Melissa McCarthy.
Okay, why did you choose Melissa McCarthy?
Because we've seen her in movies where she doesn't have to be funny. She can be serious. What was the movie we saw with her recently where she was she sold all that memorabilia, the poems, the letters?
Yeah, I don't remember. Can
I
you
bet
ever
she-
forgive me? Can you ever forgive me?
And I think she could probably pull off a Kathy Bates character in this instance.
Well, I chose to replace Kathy Bates is Melissa McCarthy.
Oh baby, give me some of that.
So I think Melissa McCarthy is a really good actress. She's just never given quite the opportunity to show the rest of the world what she can do. Can You Ever Forgive Me was a decent movie, but it was still, I think she has more potential than that. And I'm really tired of seeing her playing the female Chris Farley. I mean, having her doing the goofy physical comedy just because she's on the heavier side. I don't think that's any excuse.
I think she's much more than
a
that.
good actress.
We saw
yeah.
Mike and Molly.
Yeah, Mike and Molly, she proved she can deliver a line without using the physical
She
comedy.
literally, for 3 years, was America's sweetheart after Mike and Molly came out. Like, everyone loved Melissa McCarthy.
All right, Jesse, who did you choose to replace James Caan?
I chose to replace Paul Sheldon with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah?
Well,
Let me hear your reasoning.
Okay. Well, he's already, in real life, he's kind of an isolated guy, kind of stays to himself. I could see him being the same kind of guy, but an author who, in a just weird twist situation, ends up with one of his most rabid fans who gotta have a piece. And I think he could pull it off because I don't know why. Shit, really? I mean, he's not that strong. But, I mean, is James Caan that great of an actor?
I wouldn't say great of an actor, but he does choose his roles really good.
And I don't know why I went right to Keanu Reeves. I didn't think of many other people besides that. I thought he was a good fit for this.
Well, I chose to replace James Caan, not Keanu Reeves, but I chose Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay. See, that's not bad either.
Yeah,
That's good.
I also went with a veteran actor. I don't know. I just thought he would do a really good job. My first thought was Tom Hanks, though.
I'm with you on that one now.
But Tom Hanks, I think he's a little old for this role. I mean,
Right.
it's past the window of what James Caan played and what the character is asked for. But yeah, I think Leonardo DiCaprio would do a pretty decent job, and I think they can knock it out in an afternoon, just like that.
Well, DiCaprio's so good at playing with pain. He can sell it. He can sell the pain. So I'm actually with you on this one. I think you have the better pick of Leonardo DiCaprio because he can sell that pain, man.
So, who do you think won this week's Reboot Madness? Jesse or Travis? You can put it in the comments or wherever you could actually type stuff in, wherever you listen to this podcast or wherever you watch it from. You could also find us on Facebook at Blunt Movie Reviews. You can find me on Twitter at TraveletSmoke. You could find me on... I don't know where else I'm at. We're all over the place. Type in Blunt Movie Reviews. You can find us. We're on YouTube. We're on
All your
SoundCloud, Google Play,
podcatchers.
almost everywhere.
Absolutely.
So, we want to thank everyone again for listening to us. And please tell a friend about us. Rate, review, comment. Anything you do helps us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
So, smoke a blunt. We'll catch you guys next time.
Later.
All right, Bob, that wraps it up. Roll credits. Let's get out of here. Good job, everyone. Good job.